that we can use for future use.
You mean to say you want me to write event reasons for each and every condition possible?
Yes, sir. Already existing was there, no, sir, many of them.
Yeah, almost everything is existing in the data model. As I said, I had to share it. I could not share it. I will actually share the XML itself. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Praveen, actually, we were discussing like when we were writing that how this event to be triggered, that is job info dot position. So we, from where we are going to fetch that particular job info dot position, how it has to be mapped.
So that's a question to you now. So to the group. So what is the meaning of job info dot position? So I said something about this event reasons. When I'm triggering this event reasons, I said something. Anyone who remembers?
Yeah. When you're trying to change the position in the job info, that this particular event region is going to be triggered. It's a specific field on the job info called position.
Absolutely. That event reasons are derived only from the field level changes that we make on job information portlet. And I said anything else apart from job information usually does not trigger an event reason. But for example, hiring, rehiring, termination, leave of absence, global assignment, all these activities has to be manually given. The event reason should be manually given. Remember, this is what I said. Only when you make changes within the job information, that's when we trigger event reasons.
Yes.
Downloading the workflow data model as well. So this is all good. So currently I have only one workflow that is being triggered, so which is not correct. I'll change it. So I'll show you how we can trigger a new workflow for our position transfer that we created the other day. So the other day I created this one, PFXR. So when we change a position, it triggers this particular event reason. So what I'll do today is I'll try to link a workflow to this particular event reason. So, but before I do that, we need to understand all the concepts that we have within workflows. This is very important, and please everyone concentrate this part. It's very important, especially as I said, when you go to your customers, this particular section is very important.
Praveen, one question before we go ahead with the workflows. In the scenario that Kanchan gave that day, the temporary, we need to, suppose if it's for 3 months, we need to go back and change it to the permanent one or change it unlike SAP, right? Because there is no option of end date. Is that right?
So there is no option of end date. So my question was the other day, or the discussion that we had was, we need to look at an identifier which says it's a temporary transition.
Right. So suppose if that employee comes back to the permanent event reason, then we need to change the event reason, right?
No, it's not a question of temporary or permanent event reason. The point is, what Kanchan asked the other day is, let's say he is going on to a new position with it's only for a temporary period, like it's for 3 months period, whereas he's also going on a similar position where he's going on permanently. I said here you're changing both positions, okay, which one will indicate whether it's a temporary one or a permanent one. Otherwise, I cannot have a differentiator between both of them. So for that, you might have to create a custom field or something which might say, okay, if temporary is S, then trigger a different workflow. Or if not, then trigger the regular workflow. That's what we concluded the other day.
All right. Yeah.
Because your event derivation, let me, if that is not clear for you on air, maybe I'll just put it here. Let's say he asks this position for the employee, and I also, let's say, change your salary. So the point is there are temporary changes like this and permanent changes like this. So in both the cases, he would like to identify which is permanent. But in both the cases, only these two things will change, but there would be an end date which is only 3 months after. But as I said, in success factors, we don't define an end date. Even in SAP, we don't do that. We don't say that this particular record is valid from, let's say, 10/10/2000 to, let's say, 10/12/2000. We don't do that. Why? Because 8 is in, info type 8 is in time constraint 1. That means there should be something after that as well. You cannot create a record. Sorry?
Bhavani here. I have a small question here, that when we change the record from permanent to temporary and temporary to back, as like you said, in info type 8 we don't have an end date, but still when we change it, when we create a new record, the old record will be delimited and we have a record for reporting purpose. So in
Hold on. Bhavani, in here, when you look at our, it actually delimits. The old record is still there.
Okay, so
But
we will have a
can you
history
create,
of the old records, right? Even in SUCCESSFACTORS.
no, can you create info type 8 only from, let's say, 1st of this year to, let's say, March 1st?
No.
Nothing else before, nothing else after. I
Yeah,
mean,
while
before can be there. Okay, delimitation will have a record which was before, but what happens after March? It doesn't allow you.
True,
Yeah.
true. While creating, we cannot give a end date, but when we create a new record, the old record will be delimited, and
Yeah.
when we take a report, we can see two records. Same way,
Yeah, here we can also see that. That is available here as well. When you say it's effective as of this date, the old records will get delimited.
Okay, that's it. It's not old, it will be delimited, and we can have it in the report, right?
Of course, it will be there.
Okay.
But the point is, how do we say that it is only for 2 months? You can't say that in SAP also, but
Yeah.
uh, Kanchan was saying there is a concept called alternate pay scales, which we'll use. So that means there is a differentiator in SAP as well, which says it's temporary. Then only I can trigger this temporary event reason. So here also, you should have some differentiator between temporary and permanent. That means when you choose that field, it should trigger temporary. In that case, what I'll do, I'll put a condition and the conditions become and. So change position, change salary, and this temporary indicator. Then this becomes whatever event reason that you want for temporary, whereas without this would become permanent event reason. That's how I trigger in the conditions.
So temporary indicator is a field here, custom field.
Yeah, we need to create a custom field. Obviously, we don't have any other option.
Okay.
Otherwise, how do we identify it as a temporary event reason? Or maybe what you can do, you can put a base salary object, okay, where you can select some value which is used only for temporary people. Something, okay, whatever it could be anything. You can go on a position which can have sorry?
It can be, comfortable levels up for the consultant, business process.
No, absolutely, of course. I mean, so you need to identify a way around to identify that it's a temporary change. You can't say simply, I change the same values for both of them and system should identify it's a temporary or permanent. because no one can do that. If I give you two white papers and ask me which one is brighter white and lesser white, I don't think we can say, but there should be a standard which says, okay, this is brighter than this and this. So that's the point. You need to have a simple field which will say it's a temporary indicator, and then we can trigger a separate event reason. Is that clear,
Okay.
Ritu?
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Babu here.
Yes, Babu.
I have a question here. Let's say I just have one scenario. Let's say there is a transfer, the event, okay, and the customer wants me to have only one reason, event reason in this, but the activity should be in one. Suppose running an appraisal and we are going for a transfer action, and at the same time he doesn't want to go for several reasons, only one reason, just a transfer. But few employees grade might change, few employees salary might change, few employees something position might change. So in this case we have to use AND case and create one like the rule for a trigger event reason.
You should tell me whether it's an AND or OR.
And it must be like, yeah, of course.
Is it AND or OR?
It must be, yeah, OR. We have to use OR.
That's
right?
it. I have the answer.
And yeah, a follow to this, I could understand all those, whatever the rule ID, what we are giving, that is a TRNS, something transfer, something we have named it. Only one area I got stuck, that equal ID something is there, no? Is it job info dot something? What is that? Is this a field value dot something? Is that like that if you put it?
So what is this one? Everyone, come on. What is job info?
Dot position.
Job info, no. It's a job info is a particular thing. Okay,
What?
here a specific position is a field.
Right.
So what is job info, everyone?
Job info is an object and the position is the field on it.
Absolutely.
Correct.
So you remember, we have discussed about employment objects, person objects, right? Within that, job info is an employment object which contains all the details of your org structure and everything. So whereas if it says job info dot position, that means position is a field of your job info object. In the portlet job info, there is a position field.
I would have closed.
Sorry, you need something? You said something? Okay. Similarly, for example, if you take job info dot job code, that means it's nothing but job info portlet and the field is job code. Go to your succession data model or go to your manage business configuration and go to job info, you should see all these field values.
Okay.
So
Object dot, right?
So for example, if you look at all these things here, these are like this: job info dot location, you're transferring a location. Job info dot department, you're changing a department. So here you're changing job info dot position, job info dot cost center, job info dot department. If all these three conditions satisfy, then only it goes to this particular position reclassification. So those are different things that are defined. Okay, it's job information object dot the field value. But any which ways, we'll move on to writing a workflow. If you look at this, this should explain you the whole story. It's simple. So this is an R condition. I just put one rule, one workflow for some customer demonstrating this, which says change in working conditions, and any of these things change. So what it says is trigger this workflow if job info dot event reason value is equal to this one or this one or whatever values that you have. So this is the event reason value which we'll put here, and system triggers the workflow accordingly. So in the last class we have seen that PXFR that we created got triggered when I changed a position. Now we'll try to assign a workflow if that particular event reason gets triggered. But before I go there, I mean, as I said, I wanted to discuss about workflows, because there are certain things that you need to understand from a technical perspective what they are. Okay, so creating a workflow might be simple, but we need to understand that these are important as well. So I'll create this px for workflow. I'll just put, this is whatever you want, okay? It doesn't need to say px for, because I just put so that I know it's something that I'm creating for it. Otherwise you can put anything that you want. Okay, so here we go and see there are different things. The first one, if you look at these things, these are important. There is approver steps. So the first step, for example, I choose this and it generates next steps. Okay, so that means I can create one second. So as you see here, so there are first steps. So these steps are approval steps. Okay, so these are roles, dynamic role, position, dynamic group. So we need to understand what each one of them is, because this is very key, as I said. And then after your approvers, there are other people who can be part of your workflows. Usually you have a couple of other roles called workflow contributor. So this workflow contributor is someone who is not able to approve any absences or not able to approve any workflows, but he would be contributor. That means he can put in comments in the workflow when it gets triggered. So in the workflow is part of it, but he neither has a permission to approve it or disapprove it. But only thing he can do is he can contribute towards the workflow, saying that, okay, he has done so and so job. He's an amazing, please do whatever you want. Okay. So this contributor can put in comments, and the CC role is once the workflow approvers have approved it, it comes to your CC role. Okay. Only once the workflow is completed, the CC role will be informed with an email notification. Okay, so we'll
Praveen, can you
sorry?
repeat those, like
Praveen, you mean to say that this CC role is the notification to the employee and the manager about the end result, or what
It could
kind
be
of?
any person. Okay, it could be employee, it could be manager, or it could be the initiator, or it could be a third party person, whoever you want to inform after this workflow is completed.
Okay, so mail notifications are written in CC role.
Yes, when the workflow is about non mail notification, so then it's a CC role.
So at each point of these steps, step one, workflow contribution and CC role, how many players we can include
You can put
here?
as many as you want usually.
Okay.
So let's say I start with my manager. So this is a manager role. So you can actually see other roles as well. So it could be self, that means employee, manager's manager, employee HR, matrix manager, customer manager, second manager, additional manager. All these are job relationships that you've seen. Okay, I want to have manager approve it. So there is an option, edit with route change, edit without route change, and there is no edit. So remember, this is very important. No edit. That means you can only approve or disapprove. You cannot make any updates to the changes that you made. Whereas edit, is like you can make updates to the changes that you have made. Let's say your employee, HR administrator gave an employee $1,000 hike per month. You thought it's too much of a hike, so let's reduce it, and then you reduce it to 500, and you want to do it because, and let's say you want to do something. So whether you want to give that permission or not depends on this edit authorization. Let's say I'll do an edit with route change. With and without route change means you can send it back or you can just disapprove. So when you send it back, it goes to the previous person. That means you can change the path of the route. Or if you say without route change, that means you cannot send it back, but you can instead, you can only cancel. That means the workflow will end there abruptly. What you want to do can depend on a edit transaction, with and without route change. I'm giving edit with route change so that you can see all the permissions. And this is important. Source manager, target manager. What is this scenario? Remember this context, source and target will be used, especially when there is a transfer of a employee from location A to location B, or anything like you have a source position or a target position or a source location or a target location, or you're moving from one company to another company or anything of this sort, where you have A to B transaction and you would like to have, let's say, manager in position A to approve it as well as manager in position B to approve it. That means you're moving from one manager to another manager. So your source manager has to approve as well as the target manager has to approve. That's what the context is. You understand? So let's say, for example, I have a HR manager in my current location, as well as when I move out of this current location to a different location, there could be a different HR manager who has to approve my transaction. That means the source, the current manager has to approve as well as the future manager has to approve. That's when you use source and target. So when I put source, this is the current manager of the employee. Whereas when I put target, the target manager has to approve it. So now there is a relationship to the approver here. Sorry?
Ravi,
yes.
This target manager scenario, as per my understanding, it comes when we do a future action and keep it there, and the system will identify the future manager or future HR kind of thing.
It's not future manager actually. The future, it's a target manager. The difference between future and this one is, let's say I changed position, okay, but my current manager stays the same.
Okay.
So in that case, even if it's a future, it's not target manager. Okay. So target is, let's say, Bhavani reports to Praveen, and now you're transferred to be under Babu. Okay.
Okay.
So in that case, let's say both Praveen and Babu has to approve this movement. That means your current manager, who is Praveen, as well as the future manager, who is Babu, both of them has to approve your transition.
Okay.
It's a managers is talking about, or what?
No, I'm not talking about manager's manager. I'm talking about you're moving from manager A to manager B. I'm saying when this kind of a transaction happens, both manager A and manager B has to approve your transfer action.
In that case, we need to have two steps and two rules. One is target and one is immediate manager.
Source. The current manager, the source manager. Of course, in that case, it will become a two-step approval process where you'll have role manager approving here as well, whereas the source and context will change like this. First, my current manager will approve, and then the target manager.
One more question, Praveen. If we want to have some other person as an approver, can we add it into this quick list role?
This one, no, we cannot.
No, the second one, approver role.
Yes, that's what we cannot. We cannot add anything else here.
Only the standard. Why? Because with one of my customers, they said that here we have only the employee HR and all. Each department or each unit will have a separate HR instead of the central HR. Each unit will have a separate HR. So instead of going to their immediate managers, they want the request to be sent to the unit HR. They will approve it and send it, process it further. So in that case, how do we handle it?
We'll come there. We'll come there. I'll talk about the scenarios. Okay.
Okay.
Praveen,
That's
is
what I
this
said. We'll try to understand the different things that we have in a workflow, rather than just saying, okay, this is a step where you put approvers. That's not the way we would like to learn, right? So we'd like to see the business case and
yeah,
what
Praveen, where
different
do we
things that we
define
have.
the future manager, Praveen?
You already did that. The target. So manager, target, manager, source. So it goes to my current manager first for approval, and it goes to the future manager for approval after the first manager.
Is this something like what we see a reference manager, let's say total 1 year, first 6 manager, and currently I was with a different manager. So the current manager will take the inputs from the first manager, is a reference manager. Is that the one you're talking about here?
So you're talking about your performance management process.
Yeah.
I'm talking about HRS transaction.
Okay.
You see, there are two different things. You're talking about, you're comparing apples and oranges now. Because performance, talent, when it's done, that's a different process. Our route maps for that, they go through different shit. That's a different thing. We're not talking about it. We have a HRS transaction, actions that we perform. Like a transfer or a hiring or a pay change, these things.
Yeah.
Hello?
Thank you.
Yes?
Sir, in this case, if the employee want to take a leave, then he's a contract employee, then he should apply to the two, his contracting company and his working company, right? In this case, how can we change the context in the second step? We can go
So let's
directly
say,
to
okay, let's say you're working for a consultancy called MindLinks.
Yes,
okay?
Sir.
And you're
Yes, sir.
working for through MindLinks to Accenture.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you sit in Accenture and you want
Yes,
to
sir.
apply a leave. So
Yes,
can
sir.
Accenture system triggers it to MindLinks as well?
No.
Then why?
Actually, the third parties will not be mapped into the Accenture system actually.
Let's say they have it, okay, as Nagasai said, even contractors have some absences because after all, they're all humans as well. So they thought, okay, it's good to have them in the organization structure so that they're working for some time now. They have absences, okay, whatever it is. They thought they're also included. So you can also apply absences in their system, Accenture system. But do you think that Accenture will care about your mind links, whatever process that you have, and define it there? Usually,
No.
it's not included, but I said it's included. But they also include the mind links processes in their system. They don't do it. Who cares? Right? It's your process. If at all you have something internal in your organization, you have to handle accordingly. You might have your own, see, Accenture might implement SUCCESSFACTORS, but MindLinks can't even think about it. So how can you include both of them together? Am I right?
Yes.
Right. So it's a one system that you're talking about, guys. Think practically. Don't think too many scenarios, but think practically. So we have a approver who is and as well as a target manager. So till now it's good. Let's say someone was asking a question, a good question. So I want to apply an absence. Okay, you're sick, you could not apply an absence, and let's say admin will apply an absence because you're on sick. Just called him when you did a phone call and said you are in a hospital and you could not apply an absence. Can you please do that favor? Okay, so the admin goes and applies for an absence. So if the workflow has to be sent to admin's manager first before it goes to employee's manager, what should I do? Because who is the initiator here?
Admin.
Admin, not self. I'm not doing it. So that's what this relationship to approver is about. So relationship to approver is employee. So employee, this was not there before. These are new stuff, okay? So employee is the actual employee, okay? So whoever is applying, so employee's manager, you put it that way. Whereas if I put initiator, if admin initiates it, it goes to admin's manager. Strange, but yes. There could be scenarios which might be required in that way. So that's why you have initiators as well in the relationship. I can leave it blank so that it by default takes employee. But if you would like to have specifically mentioning that it is initiator, then yes, you need to have that initiator step. Is it clear? Guys, you understand why we're using this one now?
So if it is an initiator, probably if admin does the leave, so will it go to the employee manager or the admin manager?
If I put initiator and we put the role as a manager, then it goes to initiator's manager. That means admin's manager.
Okay, so how about if I put an employee, it has to go to the employee manager?
If an employee initiates the leave, it goes to employee's manager. If a manager initiates the leave, to manager's manager. Because your manager can also apply an absence for you.
Praveen?
Yes.
Praveen?
Yes.
I have one more question. As you just mentioned, if the initiator initiate the leave for an employee and it's supposed to go to administrator manager, right?
If I put initiator, it will go to initiator's manager, which is the admin's manager.
Admin's manager. In the same way, the same information has to be passed to the manager of an employee as well, right?
Yeah, you can put, in that case, you have to put two steps where one step will be employee manager. The second step is initiator's manager.
Okay. It doesn't fetch the employee's manager with the first lane? No, right?
You can do that. You can do that. So it's steps. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you put.
Correct.
So each step, yeah, it goes according to the step numbers.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So the next one. So no approver behavior and respect permissions are usually the latest options. So here you can skip the step or you can stop a workflow as well if you provide the authorization at this employee level where you can say, okay, skip this step. That means you can skip the workflow and it goes to the next people. As well as you have respect permissions. That means what it is so when it goes to when it goes to employee's manager for approval, and whether it has to respect role-based permissions at an approval stage, because then only he cannot see those things which you would not be able to see. Even though he's approver, if I say yes, so only things that he can see as part of the role-based permissions or other things that he can view. So this is something that we can put yes or no. By default, we can leave it blank, which would take no. Okay. So
Praveen, can you explain edit?
Sorry, Praveen, can you throw some light on this last column? Respect.
This one? Okay. So respect permissions. As an employee, as a manager, you'll have your own permissions, right? So a manager can view only some part of your data as part of the security authorizations that we give. A manager, we give certain set of permissions. If I say respect permissions, yes, that means it has to go through the regular approval process. But when a manager views the data, he can only view the data that he has permissions to view if I respect permission. Okay. Otherwise, it will just show the whole data available in the transaction.
Okay. In that specific transaction, in that specific workflow.
That specific transaction, yes.
Okay.
Praveen, can you explain edit transaction once more?
Yeah, edit is like you can update. You can update the workflow as a manager.
It's going to be update. The manager is going to be done the modifications.
Modification. You can modify. At your stage, you can modify the transaction. That's what edit is about.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Right. So now we have discussed about roles. So roles are simple, straightforward. These are a manager or manager's manager or employee or a particular HR manager, or all these people are different types of roles that you have. And you will also have positions. You can put simple, you can put one simple position. Okay, so and so position has to apply your this particular workflow, which is regular. Okay, you can put a simple standard position where you can apply. But there are other things which are important: the dynamic role and dynamic group. These are the two important things that you guys have to understand. Very important, guys. Dynamic role and dynamic group. So we'll go to dynamic role first, and then we go to dynamic group. First thing, let's say I'm doing a transfer, or let's say maybe I'll take a termination process. I'm doing a termination process, or I have already triggered a termination. So what happens is, in my organization takes the approval of my manager, which was a regular role-based thing, and it takes my approval of HR manager. This is again role-based stuff. But the next one is a little tricky. It has to take the approval from IT department, saying, okay, he has handed over all the data, or all the laptops and everything, okay, all the assets. So IT department, let's say I have a couple of offices or maybe more. I have Hyderabad, let's say New Delhi, Mumbai offices. I have 3 offices in India. I'm talking only about a simple scenario. Okay, so in Hyderabad, let's say Rudra has to approve. When you go to New Delhi, let's say Suresh has to approve. And let's say when I go to Mumbai, let's say Babu has to approve. But they are all part of IT department. So when I trigger a workflow, irrespective of your location, system has to trigger an IT department workflow, but internally identify who is the responsible person for Hyderabad, who is the responsible for Delhi, and who is responsible for Mumbai based on employee's location, and should send the workflow to that appropriate person. You understand what I mean, guys? So even though it's IT department, let's say all the people in Hyderabad, the workflow should be triggered to one person, Rudra, and for New Delhi it has to be triggered to, let's say, Suresh, and for Mumbai it has to trigger to be Bob. Okay, so these are the 3 people that I have in 3 locations. If I have 20 locations, it has to go for 20 different people based on employee's location. If I have 200 different locations, then it might have to go for 200 different people based on the locations. But it's still one workflow step, IT department. You understand? So dynamic role is nothing but it triggers a new workflow to that particular role, and the role is internally defined from some conditions that you put these people as responsible for each location. So this is something that we will be doing as part of our dynamic role creation. Whereas dynamic group, I have when I go, once the IT department approves, then let's say all my library has to approve. Okay, library approval. So library is, I have got 200 libraries in 200 locations, but anyone can approve from any location, because they just check the library software and see if you have taken any books and you did not return, then you simply say cancel. If you did not take any books, you are free, then they will say approve. So that means anyone, let's say for Hyderabad, you have New Delhi, and you've got Mumbai, right? These are three offices. And let's say Praveen is responsible for Hyderabad library, and Suresh is responsible for New Delhi library, and let's say Mumbai, um, someone or Rajiv is responsible for Mumbai. That means it doesn't mean all the people has to go through Praveen for approval. It does not mean all the people of Delhi has to go through Suresh for approval. Because let's say Rajiv can log in when I see a request for approval of library dues or anything, he can simply log in, see the system. Okay, this guy does not take any, he did not took any books, so I can simply approve. That means any one of these three people can approve from three different locations, and the request can go to all three of them. And once one person approves it, and it goes out of the to-do list of other people. So that's a dynamic group. A dynamic group is used when one among the whole group can approve, but it goes to all the people. And once a person approves it, then it disappears from other people inbox. Okay. Whereas a dynamic role will identify a person based on the location or any other condition, and it goes to that appropriate person. So there could be 100 different locations or 100 different conditions and 100 different people. So system will identify that person based on the conditions and triggers the workflow to one appropriate person in the role. That's called a dynamic role. Whereas a dynamic group is a group of people where one person can approve and all others, it will go out of the, it will go out of their inbox from all other people, but it will trigger to all the people. Anyone, any questions on these two dynamic roles and dynamic groups?
Okay, Praveen here for a dynamic role, let's say Hyderabad, Rudra is a responsible person, he has to approve.
Mm-hmm.
If he's absent,
Mm-hmm.
where it will go?
It will not go anywhere. It will go to Rudra only. It's Rudra's responsibility. It's like my manager, okay? If my manager is on leave, either he should delegate it to someone else, he should give authorization for someone to proxy as himself and do it, or if you want to activate, you can activate delegation and delegate it to someone.
Okay.
So usually when we have this dynamic roles, what we do, as a consultant, okay, this is what I do, right? So as a consultant, this is what I have to do: advise people how you should manage this stuff. So what I do is usually when there are there's local roles which are usually shared, but still one person is responsible. So we prefer having technical roles, and we assign authorizations to a group of people. We say IT admin Hyderabad, let's say. I create one technical user role, and I assign this particular person responsible for Hyderabad. And I'll give 4 people who are part of IT department in Hyderabad authorization to access this technical role and approve the workflow, whoever is working that day or in that shift.
This
Praveen,
is
Manoj here.
This is
Praveen,
really
Manoj.
related.
See, instead of assigning to a person, if you can assign to a position, because position already always exists in an organization than a person. Person can leave at
See,
any time from an organization.
it's just an example. It can be a position, it could be a job code, it could be anything. As I said, any condition. So it all depends on how we handle it. As you see, I'm saying a technical role so that I don't even assign it to people. I'll assign it only a technical role, and that will stay forever in the system. And whoever people joins the IT department, it might be 4 today or there might be 40 tomorrow. So I will give proxy authorizations to all these people who are working in IT department to this technical role, and whoever is working that day can pick up one ticket and close them accordingly. Okay, this is all how you manage it. But the concept of technical role is this one. It goes to one particular person based on the conditions that we put. It could be a person, it could be a position, it could be anything else. So I'll show you how we create it, then you will understand. Yes?
Praveen?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. This is Suresh. Is anybody others asking a question? I'll start.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. Um, dynamic role, as we said, Hyderabad, Mumbai, and Bangalore, whatever. So it is triggering the workflow to one location only, and in our example, it could be based on the employee employee main office location, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that employee is from Hyderabad, then that workflow goes to Hyderabad location, but not to any other location. But in case of the dynamic group, irrespective of location, it goes to
A whole bunch of people.
Whole bunch of people, right? Okay, understood. So whoever is in that group, right?
Right.
To all the people in the group.
And we provide them different rooms that we have. And let's say Indian and Pakistan cannot stay in the same room. So can you build this application? Customer will obviously have different requirements, but we should be strict, unlike SAP, to put a stop. Otherwise, you are in trouble because cloud applications act differently than our SAP application. Because SAP, sometimes, as you see, you have custom programming where you can build program to do something. As you say, you can generate all the report, send it to him. What you have to do is maybe once you have a new hire, you have to run a report and send it, but it does not work exactly the same way as SAP works. So there is a point where it can do and it cannot do. Remember my first classes, this is what I always say. It's very important as a consultant for you to put a stop, to say this is not going to happen in SUCCESSFACTORS. And there is no way, if there is no way that you can do standard, then put a stop and say this is not standard SUCCESSFACTORS. Then come to custom requests, and in custom you should also know MDF has its own limitations, so you should see how much MDF can do. If it cannot go
Hello.
I think we'll ask Praveen. 11 o'clock. Yeah, 1 hour. 1 hour window.
We have to wait for 5 minutes to come. I'm trying to come back.
Okay. Friends, in meanwhile, did anyone understand that as Praveen said, like there is step 1, step 2? So the workflow goes to both of them at the same time. So does it has to be complete, first step 1 has to be completed before the step 2 approves, or?
Yeah, that's what even Suresh, I have a question here. Let's say when we are when we are requesting like relation to approver, we might go for someone else. In that case, what we have to do the other fields in step 2? What we have to keep that manager?
I understand. Like, so one could be manager, one could be manager, or supervisor manager, a team lead manager, whatever. So what they think is that the immediate contact has to be done first, approved, then the manager will approve. I don't know. I'm just.
That's what. In this source is there, then target is there. Then again, if you look at relationship approver, we might need to give like 2 options. So what we have to keep it, how these two are going to sync. Maybe we have to look at the system real time and practice, then probably we can have few more questions.
Actually, the source and target, say for example, the source is the current manager and target is the future manager. Unless the employee is relieved from the source manager, the target manager cannot accept, right? So first step one has to be completed to do the step 2. Will SF allow? Will SF look for the step 1 need is completed before step 2 is clicked on? When he is trying to.
That's what we have a step 1 and step 2 based on the context. We got the source, at the same time we got target also. And if you look at the next step, relationship to the approver, even we have an employee and initiation. So I want to use both. In a second stage, I want to use initiation and employee also. So again, step 3 will come. If step 3 comes, then step 3, what would be the role? What would be the manager? What would be the edit? You have to look at remaining fields other than this field.
Yeah, right. You're right.
You understood, right? What I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, so that's so basically it's like they need to something has to be there, like should say that okay, the previous step is done.
Yeah. Here we are going to end it.
Suresh?
Yes, sir.
Just before this step, there was something with related to XML. So do we have to follow the XML process to create an event reason, or that's a different thing and this is a different thing? How are we linking that in this?
Once we create, I just answer Suresh. If I'm wrong, please correct me. See, first we need to, whatever that we have created the event reason, that event reason name, what that we have given, that has to be given in workflow. After the workflow name, in the XML also we need to keep that name over there. For example, is show PXMR, that is the event reason. That event reason we have to keep it in that XML workflow tag. So the moment we keep it there we have to link it to the workflow. So what are the steps that we are seeing? Step 1, step 2, step 4.
Oh, okay. Which means that.
But correct me, am I wrong also?
Okay.
Hello. There you go. So it looks like every day it gets what we say, disconnected at this point. It's like a fixed time where the Wi-Fi hotspot does something. It's not 1 hour point. It's actually a fixed point in the day. Maybe they have something at this point. Anyway, so we're talking about something.
Email triggering, which is not possible.
Email triggering is possible, but email trigger with all the data is not possible. I was talking about a scenario as well, right? So customer has to say no at a point. You might have to say no to customer at a point. So you need to know how things work, because that's important. Because there are different applications for different things, especially in SUCCESSFACTORS. Don't try to mix all of them. So your HR has had certain activities, and we perform those activities. At this point, at least, this is what is possible.
I have a question at this point. Just now we were discussing that if we give step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 process for approval, so which step would be, all these steps would be running in parallel, or?
No, one by one. It goes from, let's say if it goes from me to you, then it first I have to complete, then only you can do.
So if it is, in the first step we write as employee to manager, so and I want a 2-level approval from manager, again his manager has to approve. So do I need to write that step in the step 2?
Yes.
Okay, manager.
Yeah, sorry. So the question is done. Praveen, one more question. The moment we raise an initiator, it goes to second level approval, third level approval. And third level approval, is not going, so he's rejecting that. The moment it is reject, the whole process will get ends, or it goes back to the manager. So
it goes back to the initiator, or as I said, you have an option where you can say edit with route change. Here in this option, you can send it back as well. You can change the route. You can say go back to the previous step. You can either reject it, which means it will go back to the original initiator saying, okay, people rejected your workflow. You can further reapply the particular transaction, whereas you can also send it back one step saying, okay, go to the previous person.
So we have that LOV to choose when we do that process, go to the next step instead of going to the initiator.
Of course, we can do that, yeah. We'll see that.
So where we do the steps over there, so which step that we will follow? Because unless if we do the setups here, then only the approval.
This is what I said. Edit with route change.
Edit
you can
route
change the route. This is what I was talking from long back as well, right? So route change, go back one step. You instead of going front, you can send go back. Okay, so dynamic role and dynamic groups, we'll create it and we'll see. Who wants to have SEC information now? Which email? Who would like to see?
Everyone.
Everyone. You guys have a group email?
Also, Praveen, I mean, whenever this request goes to some manager or the respective approver, email notification or some kind of forms or something can be triggered in SUCCESSFACTORS?
Yes, of course. Every step, okay, every step. And let's say you receive a workflow, you will get an email as well saying, okay, you received so-and-so request. And the initiator will be informed after each step. This is what we set up in our email notification settings. Initially we discussed, you remember?
Yeah.
So there you have them. Okay.
Praveen, we can give permission to the Praveen, we can give permission to the workflow contributor also for approval or rejected permission. We can assign to the workflow contributor here. We cannot.
If at all you want to give that, you can put it in step 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever you want. Why do you want to have a contributor separately? So contributor will be used only when you want to have a contributor, a proper contributor. If he is an approver, he is an approver. You see, if you want to have someone approving it, put it in the approvers list. If you want to have a specific situation where you want a person to simply put comments, if I put it in the approvers list, he will get an option to approve, but I don't want him to approve. Instead, I only want him to give some comments or feedback. In that case, where do I put it? I put it in the workflow contributor. If a workflow contributor can also approve, then he's not a contributor anymore. He's an approver.
Thanks,
See yeah, that's important. Okay.
So what is this respect permission? Yeah.
So what did I say about respect permission?
Hello?
We discussed about it few minutes back.
Yeah, this giving the authorization to the data. What
exactly of the transaction, whether it should follow your RBP permissions as is, or you should see your whole data in the transaction.
Praveen?
All right, so no one wants to have an email triggered. That's fine then. I think.
Praveen,
Yes.
one more question.
we were asking about the email triggers, alerts, and data.
Babukurada@gmail.com.
Praveen, I haven't finished my question at
Gauri, your voice is not audible.
All right. What I mean to say, if you look at the screen, you could find the step 1, step 2, and step 4, but I couldn't find the step 3.
I deleted it, so it's gone. Number does not make any difference. Don't worry.
Praveen, where do we map event reasons with the workflow ID? Or
You had
is
to
it...
go there, madam.
All right, thank you.
So I'm trying to do that, but unfortunately we cannot. So we're still there. We're about to do that. Okay. Once we complete setting up the workflow, we'll map both of them. That's where you'll see it.
Praveen, Manoj, last question from my side. See, the thing is, in transfer that we have options where do the transfer inside the department, outside the department in SUCCESSFACTORS. And so the moment if I do it outside the department, so the location also will get changed. For example, I'm in US, so my
Yes.
location got
Whatever,
changed to
that's fine.
Somalia.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, my location got changed to Somalia, for an
Mhm.
example. Okay, I have a requirement. So the moment I do Somalia, so Somalia, each and every country will have different approval processes.
See,
For example, if it is
as I
Somalia means,
see, one second, transfer within your company is always okay. Once you go to Somalia, you're changing a legal entity. What is that process called? Everyone. Once you move a person from one legal entity to a different legal entity, what is that process called?
Global assignment.
Absolutely. Global assignments. That's not your regular transaction that you do.
yeah,
Okay?
sure, yeah, correct. See, when I okay, see, the moment they got changed to Somalia, what happened? My all my SAP accounts should be username and password. It should be deleted because in Somalia and other countries, they won't use Oracle, they won't use SAP, and they won't use any other ERPs. They have their own software. So that time, the moment that whatever that if it got changed, it should be rescinded. Whatever my SAP accounts and all, but it should route it to the particular admin to close my all my accounts in SAP or Oracle. So this transaction, the moment if you put Somalia or different countries,
You can't put
okay,
Somalia.
it
Let
should
me
be routed
explain
to
this
other
one.
departments.
Yeah, of course, there is a separate session, Kanchan, on global assignments. It's not part of this one. It's not part of this discussion anyway. But the question is, okay, very simple. Okay, Manoj, let me put you. I'm not sure. Uh, I'm not sure what you do in Oracle, or I'm not an expert in Oracle. But as a HR process expert or HR expert, what you have to do is, if you are moving out of your, let's say, success factor system to a different system, it's a responsibility of whoever is handling your system to terminate the employee in the system. Okay? If he's moving out of the system, you're terminated here. That's it. If you have success factors in USA and you have in Somalia a Somalian HR system, if they're different, then in the moment you're moving out of USA to Somalia, that day is your last date in your HRA system in USA. You are terminated here. Usually, even when you go on a long-term assignment, usually you're terminated in your local office and hired as a new employee in the new organization, unless you are in a global assignment on a temporary basis. Okay? So these are your standard HR knowledge, which is very...
Termination means you can't terminate an employee, right? Oh, if you terminate an employee, the whole process, because still they have a product and they have some manufacturing unit in Somalia,
Yes.
and it just is going and working over there for some few days. For the few days, his SAP account will be closed. You should not open
put him
any
in
SAP
inactive
transaction there.
status, okay? You have to put him in inactive status, saying, okay, you are on so and so stuff, and you're obviously inactive here. As you said, you are going to send an admin saying, okay, you need to close all his accounts. That means that depends on what status you want to. That's what I'm saying. If you are going on a long-term basis, you usually terminate. If you are going on a short-term basis, you usually put him in inactive status. And this is global assignment, which we have a different section. I mean, we have a session planned for it, obviously. We'll talk about it there. Please don't mix up everything. I know there are a lot of HR processes, and there are different ways in which we handle them. For global assignments, you can also put a workflow. But as I said, it depends. Okay, if you are moving from one person from one country to another country, yes, put a different workflow in Somalia. But the point is, if the Somalian entity is not in SUCCESSFACTORS itself, what will you do in SUCCESSFACTORS? You can't do anything here. It's a company's problem, or it's a company's, system inconsistencies. They have to harmonize their systems. That's all they have to do, end of the day. But you can't do much in SUCCESSFACTORS if you don't have Somalian entity in SUCCESSFACTORS. As simple as that. You put an employee in so-and-so status, or you put global assignment saying, okay, this employee is in a different organization. You put others as a legal entity, which is connected nowhere, and just do something. Or you create a dummy legal entity for Somalia and SUCCESSFACTORS. put it there, and the employee goes on inactive status in Somalian entity.
In Workday, because we did the implementation, in that we don't have a transaction called inactive, because he will be there into as active for the particular group, but only the account will be get closed. He will not raise any transactions. He cannot only SAP, only the Workday account will be get closed.
Same here. So if I say inactive, that doesn't mean he's not active in Somalia. He might be active in Somalia. His US account or whatever current employee status that he has, he will be in inactive status. That's a standard process. Any HR process, irrespective of your SAP, SUCCESSFACTORS, Workday, that's a standard process that you follow. You take any HR system that you know and go and see what the system does. He should be not terminated if it's a short-term assignment. He should go to inactive status. Okay, that means all his data will be there. Nothing will go. You will have some status like expatriate, or it says on the different assignment, or sometimes he might be active, but payroll will run in the home country. Everything in that case, his status remains same, and he just goes there on a short-term basis, come back. So nothing changes in his assignment here. But if you're moving him to, let's say, Somalian entity, in that case, yes, you'll be inactive. You're not terminated though, but you'll have a new account created for Somalia, and you run the employment and everything there. That's how it works. In SUCCESSFACTORS, we talk about global assignments later. So let me continue with this one because we're spending too much time on not connected stuff. Okay, please try to understand, because I'm talking with questions for last 1 hour. So there are other people who are working from different places. So let's come back to this question. We'll talk about global assignments. We can discuss them. Right, so I'll put someone's email. Who wants to have the email, guys? One email, please.
Hello.
Yes.
Bhushan this side.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Babu volunteered.
Babu?
BABUKURADA.
K for cat.
At gmail.com.
Super. Yes, Bhushan, sir, good.
So where you put my mail ID?
Okay, you want one more? Okay, very good. Yes, please.
B HEMANE.
Naveen, this is the CC role.
No, not a Gmail. Yahoo.in.
Yahoo.co.in?
No. Yahoo.in only. Not
okay.
Yeah, yes, it's okay.
Naveen, this CC role is for what? What? Hello?
One second. So the time that we put it idle, it also kicked us out. So the CC role is for what? Who's that? You know the name?
I'm Prasad here, Bhavani.
Bhavani, come on, man. You just asked me and I explained you again. You're coming back. So what is a CC role for, guys?
CC role will get an email notification when workflow is completed.
Okay.
It's just for information purpose.
Okay.
Okay, so I have to create the workflow again, guys, the third time. So, okay, so quickly I'll just do it. Okay, no more questions before I trigger a workflow. After that, I'll take the questions. But these are all good questions and good points for others to know. But still I understand. We need to do certain things.
Praveen, let us have only 1 hour of session, Praveen, rather than 1.5 hours. Because
I could not complete. I usually take 30 minutes to explain this, but it took 1.5 hours for us. We can do that anyway. Next week we can do it from 1 hour. Edit without change. Take only one, and then I'll take role manager again. So Babu
Kurada.
Kurada.
Exactly.
Please, can you add mine too?
Okay.
Not a Gmail, not a Gmail. Yahoo.in.
Is that right?
No, it's Yahoo.in
Sorry.
only. Yahoo.
You are still a loyal Yahoo customer. Good.
Yes, yes.
So p@gmail.com. Who else wants it? Come on, guys. It's not any chocolate or something. Okay. What else? Who? Ritu?
Yes,
I have
RITU
curiosity.
dot RAJORA,
Uh-huh.
Rajora.
Okay. Gmail, at least.
Thank you.
That's it, guys. The chocolate next time, please.
Have to get the chocolates. You have to get the chocolate.
The chocolate.
They have to share the
Okay,
candy.
so I agree. Right. So what we'll do now is we'll take a condition, an example like this. So just copy paste it, and nothing will change for you. Don't worry. So the rule ID should be unique usually. It could be anything. Okay, just think it should be unique. And what is my workflow ID? So this is my workflow ID. So it should be here. The true output is a workflow ID. And remember, this is simple. You need to say this should be triggered when this particular workflow gets triggered. So this particular event reason gets triggered. Where is my event reason? Here. So this is my event reason ID. If what I'm saying here is this workflow will be triggered when this condition satisfied. The condition is event reason is this. The event reason is this, then this workflow will be triggered. This is what I say. This is all I have to say in a workflow. Just map your workflow to your event reason, and then we have to import it. I'm sure I'll be kicked out of everywhere because I've put the system idle for a lot of time. So just let me quickly log in. So for uploading workflows, you have to go to your succession management and workflow derivation. So this is your XML. So this is how you need to add workflows for all your different event reasons as well. So this one I'm just uploading.
Please send us the workflow
Just
data model.
I'll send you both of them. Yep, I'll send both of them. SAP MW workflows. So this has been uploaded now. We'll go to an employee finally. So we were working with some Mexican employee the other day. Who was that? Because Carla Grant is totally.
Praveen, it started with some A name. Just check it.
Okay, I take this guy. Sorry?
And yeah.
Taking this guy.
Yeah.
So what I'll do quickly is I go to employment information. Before I take the action, I'll just delete that previous transaction so that we can see, or we can use the same position, because looks like Mexico does not have much positions to transfer the employee. So I'll quickly take this and delete it. If it looks like there is, it's already deleted, so don't worry. Quickly take action, do change the job. Okay, I'm taking a position. So he's moved from position A to B, and the previous manager was J. Lopez. Okay, it's not Jennifer Lopez, so it's Jamie Lopez. So, and Christy is a new manager. So what I'll do is I'll just submit. Okay, I hope this is back to normal. You see, yesterday it did not trigger a workflow, but today it triggers a workflow because we mapped a workflow to the position transfer event that we created. And you see the previous manager, Jamie Lopez, and the future manager, Christy Garrity, as well as your CC roles, Babu or Bhushan or Banu or even Ritu, all of you are here. So I'll just confirm. Okay, so now it should say as pending future position transfer. You see here, position transfer pending approval. So we can go to each approval to see who they are. I mean, what they can see. So the first one is Jaime Lopez. Going to his screen. So when we go to his screen in the to-do list, we should see meanwhile, someone please open your email inbox. Once this is done, I'll make you the presenter. You can show it. Okay, so now approve position transfer for Arturo Perez.
So in meantime, a question from myself, Bhavani here. We had given a specific mail ID there, but if I want to trigger a mail to the manager and the initiator, so on, so where from the system?
You can just put the role. You can just put the role and the manager, and it takes whoever is your manager and his email ID that's available already in the system. It triggers to the business email ID as normal. You know, every employee has an email ID, right?
Right.
In the system.
Right.
It triggers based on the people law that you assign. You can put people, you can put person, or you can put external email IDs. I just put external email IDs so that you guys can receive and see how it looks.
So in the CC role, if we specify the position name or the job name, then it will go to the respective person's mail,
Yeah.
taking it from the system.
Right.
Thank you. So this mail will be triggered at each point of approvals, at each stage of the workflow?
No. CC roles are triggered only once the approval is completed.
Only at the end of the workflow.
Yes.
So, but if I want a notification to the person to whom this workflow is sent.
So as I said, the initiator responsible for this transaction will receive an email notification after each workflow step. That's handled through your email notification template settings, as I said at the beginning of the classes. Okay.
Right.
So that's triggered there for the initiator. But why would your manager be informed after each step? It will not. It will only inform once you receive an email, or if you are the initiator, or if you are supposed to get a notification, then only you get it. This is ridiculous, man. There's so much of. Let's see if it doesn't work now. It looks. Come on. Okay, finally. You see that, you see the changes, you see everything. And as I give the permission to edit, you can see you can also make updates. Okay, you can also make updates just like this. You can simply go and update. So I'm changing the, I'm canceling the changes. And I can come back, you can send it back as someone asked me. This is edit with route change. Or if you don't have an option where you can say edit with without route change, then you'll just get withdraw or cancel or whatever, reject. But here, only thing that we have is approve or send back. So I can approve it. So the next new manager is Christy Garrity or something. So this is a new manager. You see here, approve position transfer, which is triggered today for the new manager. I know for a few people it's late, but guys, we're almost done. Sorry, but have to show the complete process. So who has their mailbox open now? Who have their mailbox open now? Banu, you want to show?
Yes.
Babu?
I got
Ritu?
Anyone? Yes, I've got an email.
Okay. Shall
simple.
you're not in a desktop version, Ritu, I'm sorry.
A position transfer for Auto Perez has been approved. I just got a mail.
Babu is on web. Bhushan is the right
Yeah.
person.
Actually, I am on the mail, but I'm. Hello.
Yes.
Actually, I'm online, but I couldn't receive any mail.
Come on. Then I might have put your email wrong, but others have already received it.
Might be.
Yeah, sorry. So who else is on? Everyone is on web. Babu, Bhavani, and Ritu all are on web application rather than. So you guys have to download something too.
I can send it to the group email so that.
Yeah, maybe you can send it to the group email, so that should be fine. So that's how your workflows gets triggered, guys.
Praveen, if you don't mind, can you send us the XML?
Of course, I'll do that. It's in my list of to-dos. Yesterday I was quite busy, could not do it. Okay, I'll send it today.
I was not included in your list, Praveen. I'm not getting any mails from you.
So ideally, my expectation is if I send it to few people, you all can share. So.
Okay, if chance, then you know my mail ID, so you can.
Yeah, so that's why I ask people to send email IDs, and whoever send, I usually send. If your people did not have sent it, I don't have it to send. So that's a problem.
Okay, Praveen. Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I got a mail. Okay, you not put it any wrong mail ID. I got it right now.
Okay, no problem. Cool. Yahoo, man.
Yeah. Yahoo. It's getting late, but finally I got it.
That's why it's always behind Google. You see. That's the reason.
Of course.
Praveen, yes, you have shown all the process and all the FA notification is triggered, CC. Now I have to do this process called resend. Whatever the transfer that you have did so far, I have to resend the whole process.
Resend the whole process? Sorry, I did not get your
Yes.
question.
We can do that?
I did not understand the question at all in the first place.
Yeah, resend means, for example, we did the transfer to, we have done one transaction till now, okay? All the approval is done, or if a notification is triggered to everyone, okay? So I need to cancel this transfer. I need to resend. Resend means it's not with the database. Whatever that you did transaction, it should revoke back.
Okay, revoke, you mean to say.
Yeah, revoke, resend, or the whole process.
Okay, got it. So anyone who knows the answer for this one? So what do you guys do?
Another workflow.
Go to his history and delete the record.
Absolutely simple. Go to his history, delete the record, you're done.
If I delete the record and again the approval process should trigger it. Not delete means it's not a thing. Delete means again the
Then you don't. Then you have to change it again. You have to initiate the process again.
No, the process is
Change it
normal.
again and then your workflow will trigger.
There is no option. There's no option.
But people should know that this particular transaction has been rejected because we both are talking each other. I was thinking the Bhushan has been transferred.
Usually, say you can't do it as an administrator in the first place.
In SuccessFactors,
You won't
can't
do it unless. No, hold on.
No. I want to know in SuccessFactors we don't have that processes.
No, we don't have a process where, if at all you want to resend him back, again trigger in process which says you're moving him back to the original position. If at all you want to go to the approval process. Sorry?
The comments can be given down there, whatever the discussion been happening.
So here you usually delete it if you don't want to have it. Okay. So, but there is no option to resend this transaction because if in the first place, why did people approve if it's not authorized? You see?
Yeah,
the point?
this is the scenario. Okay, that's my requirement. That when it goes with the client's place, that's a requirement given by the client.
Usually, as I said, you need to know where to stop. That's one of the points where to stop, because obviously it's nonsense. If a customer, all the people in the approval process has approved it, and just now, and they say, okay, no, please don't do that. It's not the way it works. Okay, then I just delete it.
Fine. I got it. Client is a nonsense. He doesn't know anything, whatever it may be. But that's the business processes that we need.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So usually, if a business process is approved by all the people, concerning people, And the option that we have in the system is to delete it. It does not trigger a workflow. If you want to trigger a workflow, please initiate a new process. That's a process that SUCCESSFACTORS can do. As I say, there are limitations and there are advantages, there are everything. And this is a system, it actually works.
Fine. So
Yeah.
my scenario, see, even all this compensation is also event, right? Even bonus is also event in SUCCESSFACTORS.
Yes, bonus
Allowances
can be given. Yes, you can
Yeah,
give
it's
it.
even fantastic. And also allowances also is a process, right? It's an event in SUCCESSFACTOR.
Yes.
Fantastic. The thing is, the moment I raise a request for 10,000 for LTA, it goes different ways of approval. Okay. Then already done. Then I don't need to pay to him. I don't need to pay to him. I have to do the rescind. I need to delete. The moment if I delete, and again it should go as a notification to a different approval processes. An employee also should know that your particular thing is denied. Number one. And number two, if
no, hold on. I did not understand. So once so when do you deny it? After everyone is approved.
Everybody is approved. Everybody is approved. But still we have not done the integration or any kind of ADP transaction to send it to ADP people. But still we are just only the approval process is done. The moment the approval process is done, then I came to know he is not the eligible person. Then I need to, I tell to my rescind specialist guy, hey, please rescind this particular
in the first place,
LTA
what I would do,
employee.
if he is not eligible for LTA, he should not see LTA. It should stop there itself. It should not go to all the approval process. And why would they approve it if he's not eligible in the first place?
No. That is, we're talking about the requirement. We're not talking about requirement. If because they are not given any checkpoint. Okay, they are not implemented in that particular time.
That's what they have to do.
No, we can't force the client to do it, right? The client always says to do like this.
I don't know if you want to fight with me, but this is how it works. But the point is, as I say, problem is, see, you're not trying to see the problem in a way ideally it should be. Okay, if someone has been just transferred right now, why did you approve it if you know he's not transferred? Because approval should be done only after all the discussions happen, everyone has agreed. Okay, I agree. The problem, decided not to transfer.
Correct. It's a human error. I can say it's a human error. It's a human beings. You know, people do the transactions done. But
this is the way
there will be some checkpoint where we need to address.
Transaction has to be deleted. It's deleted. It's deleted.
So once approval is done, we can able to correct the amount.
There is a way that we are correcting it in the back end as an administrator. It's beautiful, okay?
Do we have class tomorrow?
No, Suresh. If you want to leave, you are fine, okay? I know it's too late for you. No, we don't have a class tomorrow, but we have a class Saturday, guys. So please make sure you guys are there on Saturday. Same
What time?
What time it will be?
Same
Okay.
time.
Okay, super.
Online or classroom?
Online.
Online. Okay.
He's traveling here.
Okay, so we'll have a class to compensate tomorrow.
In the classroom?
Okay, guys, we'll have a class on Saturday, same time, online, and we'll discuss next steps on Saturday. Okay, but coming back to this question, we're saying, thanks, Kanchan. You have a good day. I know you're client side. Okay, so the problem is there is no approvals that get triggered when we delete as an admin in the backend in the history from the database. That's how it works. If you want to have an approval process, please initiate as a transaction. It takes you through whatever approval process you need. As simple as that.